All right, everybody, we're live out here in McGregor Park, and I got Mr. Dennis Glenn and Jack Yates, class of, 81?
81.
All right.
Jack Yates, class of 81. We out here for our first annual family reunion over here at the McGregor Park. We're out here celebrating just friendship with all the classes of Jack Yates High School.
And you know, this is the thing about it, Dennis. You know, me and you talked about this 5 or 6 years ago when we was doing the Wheatley picnic, and we said that we're going to eventually, you promised me, you say, Boo Lee, we're going to get an all-class picnic together.
Yes, we are.
And we are in the beginning stages of it, and I appreciate it, Dennis. But here's what I'm having a problem with, Dennis.
Okay.
I'm not getting nobody from the 70s. The only thing I'm getting is a lot of 80s. Y'all are the guys, the elite 80s is the one who really helping us keeping our tradition alive.
Well, you know, one thing about the 80s is it's based on our leadership. The leadership that we had at Yates in the 80s was Mr. Mitchell, Mr. Osby B. Mitchell. Mr. Mitchell always taught that we were number one. And he taught that when you come to Yates, you put away all that, your elementary school, your junior high school, and you become one line. So, you know, in the 80s, you brought in almost 5 different middle schools, junior high school at that time, to Yates, and he was able to bond and make us bond together. And you're seeing the results of the bonding that we were able to do in the 80s, and it's based on leadership.
You know, Dennis, now we at here at McGregor Park, and this is some real valuable information that you shared with me about the University of Houston trying to take over McGregor Park.
Yes, Mayor Turner, actually the city of Houston put a notice in the newspaper, and you know, this is 2021. Right. Most people out here don't read newspapers. Right. So what they did was they put it out there, and what they have is called the Greater Park Association to actually change this park. They want to tear this building down and put just 2 basketball goals up there. They've already put a frisbee golf over here. So what they're doing is they want to cater to the University of Houston, so they want to take this park. And the thing is, we don't want them to take this park. This is a black park.
Right, you know, because I did a special on McGregor Park when they first opened this park up. But in 1956, it was for whites only that lived out there in South Park. Right. And when integration came in '64, blacks started coming to the park, whites started moving out of South Park, and it become a predominantly black park. And this is, to me, this is sound like the University of Houston is trying to get some of their white clientele to come over here, because some of the whites feel like they don't want to be over here because there's too many blacks. And
actually, that's what they're doing. Because if you look at this crane that's over here, that's a part of McGregor Park. What they've done is they put the medical school over there, and they want to eventually take this as well.
Yep, because see, when Mr. Henry McGregor donated this to the city of Houston, right, it went all the way back almost to Wayside.
Exactly.
Right, because he used it as the foundation, as the outer skirts of the Houston city limits.
Yes, he did.
Because on the other side was Harrisburg, Texas. You know,
and so what Mayor Turner's doing is Mayor Turner is actually kowtowing to the powers that be at the University of Houston. But you know, back in the early '80s, they even stopped us from coming through this park by making this all one way. Because this used to be a gathering spot on Sundays for African Americans. But the city came in and stopped that because they didn't want us here because of the University of Houston.
And you know, and you talk about it, and the city is really catering to our University of Houston, because a lot of people that's in the city politics are graduates from the University of Houston.
Exactly.
And then you're talking
being one of them.
And then what would come again?
Him being one of them.
Who is him?
Mayor Turner.
Okay, I just
want
to.
He's a graduate of the University of Houston, and so that is the crux of this. You know, this is our park. Gentrification will not run over us.
And you know, and we look back at University of Houston, and you also got to remember a lot of UH money is coming from the owner of the Houston Rockets.
Exactly.
And what's his name?
Tillman Fertitta. And one of the things he's doing is one of the things they're doing is they're trying to put a program at Yates, but that program is to actually snuff us out.
Right.
But the only good thing that we have going in our favor is Yates is a historical landmark.
Right.
And we're not going to let them take Yates, and we're not going to let them take this park.
Right.
If I have to run for for city council or mayor, I would do it to stop this.
Right, because it all boiled down to that the white people had already took Emancipation Park away from us.
Yes, they did.
And now they're trying to take McGregor Park away from us.
Yes.
And we never did have Herman Park from the get-go.
Exactly.
So in other words, they don't want us to have no recreation to bring our family to it. That's what it looked like to me, Dennis.
The purpose, I believe the purpose is to actually push us out of the inner city.
Okay.
Because if you think about it right now, and I think people can go Google this themselves, they've taken most of the housing authority and they placed them on the outskirts of the city of Houston.
Okay.
We have 14 properties that are sitting on the 99 highway, and they got one bus, city bus, that brings them from out there to the city of Houston, and that's what they're doing. They're pushing the poor out to bring the rich in.
Okay, so when you're saying they pushing the poor out, so they're taking all the blacks out of the inner city.
Out of the inner city, they push them out.
And they're pushing further out towards on the other side of the
99.
beltway?
Yes.
No.
Beltway. Actually, you have to stay. They have to stay within the beltway. They have to stay within the beltway, within 99, to qualify to be in Harris County. So that's what they're doing. They're pushing them further out.
So they going past the beltway. They're going by Highway 99.
Yes. Matter of fact, you got a housing project that's actually 16 miles from Prairie View A&M University.
And that's a housing?
That's a housing project.
And who is that part of Harris County?
That's part of Harris County, City of Houston housing.
Wow.
Yeah, so these are the things that we're fighting for right now, because we're not going to let them close this park down.
And and the bad part about it, Dennis, this is a meeting place not only for Yates and Sterling and Jones and Madison, and also even other schools such as Millby. They all come to this park to recreation.
Yes, and the thing about it is that we have to learn who to choose and to vote for, who the people from the neighborhood who are going to take care of the neighborhood. We have a good city council person with Carolyn Sabaz in District D, but she needs help.
Right, she can't do all this by herself.
No, she can't.
And and we're coming over, Dennis.
Yeah.
And and there's so much information that you've given us. Yeah. Because like you say, don't nobody read the newspaper. One time they read the paper is for the obituary.
Exactly, and that's what they do. Every notice that the city puts out, they put in the newspaper for 90 days. And most people don't read it.
And then that's the cover they back, saying that they inform the public of what's going on.
And basically, you have to look to see if you see a sign that says variance. Whenever you see a sign placed on a property that says variance, that means that the city, and it has a number on it. You dial that number. If you don't think you want that in your neighborhood, you call that number, you protest, and the city can't take that property.
And what's that number again, Dennis?
I don't know the number, but it's on the sign. Anytime you see a sign that says variance.
Variance.
Anytime you see a sign that says a variance, that means that they're gonna build something on there that's not for us.
Okay, now, and we talk so much about that, Dennis, and and here we is at McGregor Park, and here they is trying to take over McGregor Park.
Right.
They already took over Emancipation Park.
Yes, they have.
They got their dogs out there doo-dooing all over the park.
That's true.
And we can't even go to the park.
Right.
Over there.
And if you look right now, we have over 100 people out here from Yates High School.
Right.
This is what Yates is about. This is what the principal that we had at Yates, he actually taught. He taught us to be number one. He taught us to be a family. Mm-hmm. And right now you have classes from actually your class all the way down to 1991 right now. That's what we have
out here in the park
right now.
And it's so good, Dennis, because this is the beginning of us start fellowshipping.
Right. We have class 79, we have 80, 81, 82,
all
83.
The 80s, that's what I'm saying.
All the 80s are out here.
All the 80s out here. If we can get the 70s to come in like we got the 80s.
And I understand a lot of them don't want to be out in the heat, don't want to be in the sun. But guess what? We have events that go on during the fall.
And the bad part about it, Dennis, they got to understand, man, if they want to be part of the school, they got to get involved with the school.
Exactly.
They can't just sit around and sit on their fanny and start pointing the fingers when things don't go their way, just like this white line that we looking at here.
Yeah, exactly.
Just like this stadium that they renaming. Yeah. Still disrespecting Coach Pat Patterson.
We will not be naming the school, the stadium, the track after George Floyd. So that will not be happening.
That's not
happening.
Thank you, Dennis.
All right, man.
Appreciate it. Yes, sir.